Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Lucy is here to help me. She needs a haircut. She's here to help me explain to you what today's going to look like. So, Lucy says that we're going to start out doing our IXL activity. That's where you're doing some compare and contrast. Oh, Molly's down here too. Afterwards, we're going to read a chapter of Because of Winn-Dixie. We're going to read chapter 16. Then we're going to talk about something called automatopoeia. Automatopoeia is a very fancy word. All it means is sound words. So, in a story, if you've ever heard someone say crash or bang or zip or zoom or a dog barking, that's the author using automatopoeia. The reason they do that is it just kind of makes the writing sound a little better. Instead of them saying the dog barked, they could say woof woof. And it just makes you feel a little more like you're there. Guys, what are you doing? All right, so I'm going to put my two doggies away, and we're going to read about our doggie that we've been reading about, Winn-Dixie. All right, Lucy, you want to sit right here next to me? All right, chapter 16. Litmus W. Block was just a boy when the firing on Fort Sumter occurred. Miss Franny Block said as she started in on our story. Fort Sumter, I said. It was the firing at Fort Sumter that started the war, said Amanda. Okay, I said. I shrugged. Well, Litmus was 14 years old. He was strong and big, but he was still just a boy. His daddy, Artley W. Block, had already enlisted, and Litmus told his mama that he could not stand by and watch the South get beat. So he went to fight too. Miss Franny looked around at the library, then she whispered, Men and boys always want to fight. They're always looking for a reason to go to war. It's the saddest thing. They have this abiding notion that war is fun, and no history lesson will convince them differently. Anyway, Litmus went and enlisted. He lied about his age. Yes, ma'am. Like I said, he was a big boy. And the army took him, and Litmus went off to war just like that, left behind his mother and 3 sisters. He went off to be a hero, but soon he found out the truth. Franny closed her eyes and shook her head. What truth? I asked. Why, that war is hell, Miss Franny said with her eyes closed. Pure hell. Hell is a cuss word, said Amanda. I stole a look at her. Her face was pinched up even more than usual. War, said Miss Franny, with her eyes still closed, should be a cuss word too. She shook her head and opened her eyes. She pointed at me, then she pointed at Amanda. You, neither of you, can imagine. No, ma'am, Amanda and me said it at exactly the same time. We looked real quick at each other and then back at Miss Franny. You could not imagine. Litmus was hungry all the time. He was covered with all manner of vermin, fleas and lice. And in the winter he was so cold he thought for sure he would freeze to death. And in summer, why, there's nothing worse than war in the summertime. It stinks so. And the only thing that made Litmus forget he was hungry and itchy and hot or cold was that he was getting shot at. And he got shot at quite a bit. And he was nothing more than a child. Did he get killed? I asked Miss Franny. Good grief, said Amanda. She rolled her eyes. Now, Opal, Miss Franny said, I wouldn't be standing in this room telling this story if he was killed. I wouldn't exist. No, ma'am. He had to live. But he was a changed man, yes, ma'am. A changed man. He walked back home when the war was over. He walked from Virginia all the way back to Georgia. He didn't have a horse. Nobody had a horse except for the Yankees. He walked, and when he got home, there was no home there. Where was it? I asked her. I didn't care if Amanda thought I was stupid. I wanted to know. Why, Miss Franny shouted so loud that Winn-Dixie and Amanda Wilkinson and me jumped. The Yankees burned it. Yes, ma'am. Burned it to the ground. What about his sisters? Asked Amanda. She moved around the desk and came and sat on the floor. She looked up at Miss Franny. What happened to them? Dead. Dead of typhoid fever. Oh, no, Amanda said in a real soft voice. And his mama? I whispered. Dead, too. And his father? Amanda asked. What happened to him? He died on the battlefield. Litmus was an orphan? I asked. Yes, ma'am, said Miss Franny Block. Litmus was an orphan. This is a sad story, I told Miss Franny. It sure is, said Amanda. I was amazed that she was agreeing with me about something. I'm not done yet, Miss Franny said. When Dixie started to snore, and I nudged him with my foot to try to make him quit, I wanted to hear the rest of the story. It was important to me to hear how Litmus survived after losing everything he loved. I wonder if she's making a connection with Litmus about losing things. All right, I'll see you back for chapter 17.